Nebuchadnezzar, the rise, fall, and redemption of Babylon's greatest king. Nebuchadnezzar II, the mighty king of Babylon, was a man of unparalleled ambition and unmatched authority. His story, found in the books of Daniel and Jeremiah, is one of glory, pride, divine intervention, and ultimate humility before the God of heaven. It serves as a testament to the sovereignty of God over all rulers and nations. The rise to power. Nebuchadnezzar was the son of Nabopolassar, the founder of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. From an early age, Nebuchadnezzar displayed remarkable leadership skills, commanding armies that conquered territories and expanded Babylon's influence. His most notable victory came in 605 BC at the Battle of Carchemish, where he defeated the Egyptians and secured Babylon as the dominant power of the ancient Near East. Upon his father's death, Nebuchadnezzar ascended the throne. His reign marked an era of great prosperity and architectural achievement, as he transformed Babylon into a city of unmatched splendor. The Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were said to have been built under his rule, possibly for his Median queen to remind her of her homeland. Despite his accomplishments, Nebuchadnezzar's story would be shaped not by his power, but by his encounters with the God of Israel. The Siege of Jerusalem. In 605 BC, Nebuchadnezzar turned his attention to Judah. He besieged Jerusalem, capturing many of its inhabitants, including the young nobleman Daniel and his companions Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. These captives were brought to Babylon and trained to serve in the king's court, unknowingly setting the stage for dramatic divine interventions. Years later, in 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar returned to Jerusalem, destroying the city and the temple. He carried away the treasures of the temple and exiled the people of Judah to Babylon. This act fulfilled the warnings of the prophets, who had foretold Judah's fall due to their disobedience to God. The dream of the great statue. Nebuchadnezzar's first recorded encounter with the God of Israel came in the form of a troubling dream. The king saw a colossal statue with a head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of iron and clay. A stone, not cut by human hands, struck the statue and reduced it to dust, while the stone grew into a mountain that filled the earth. None of his wise men could interpret the dream, but Daniel, empowered by God, revealed its meaning. The statue represented a sequence of kingdoms, starting with Babylon as the head of gold. The stone symbolized God's eternal kingdom, which would surpass and outlast all earthly empires. Nebuchadnezzar was awestruck. He acknowledged Daniel's God as the God of gods and the Lord of kings, but his heart remained unyielding. The fiery furnace. In a display of his unchecked pride, Nebuchadnezzar erected a massive golden statue on the plain of Dura and commanded all his subjects to bow down and worship it. Anyone who refused would be thrown into a fiery furnace. Daniel's 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, refused, declaring, "Our God is able to deliver us from the furnace, but even if he does not, we will not bow to your gods." Furious, Nebuchadnezzar ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. The 3 men were bound and cast into the flames, but to the king's astonishment, they walked unharmed in the fire. A 4th figure, described as like a son of the gods, appeared with them. Nebuchadnezzar called them out, declaring, "No other god can save in this way." Yet, despite this miraculous event, he still did not fully surrender to God. The madness of the king. Nebuchadnezzar's pride reached its zenith when he stood on the roof of his palace, gazing over the grandeur of Babylon. He proclaimed, "Is this not the great Babylon I have built by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" At that moment, a voice from heaven declared his judgment. Nebuchadnezzar was struck with a mental illness, and he lived like a wild animal, eating grass and dwelling among the beasts. His hair grew like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. For 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom was preserved by God while he roamed in madness. This humbling experience was a divine act of mercy, designed to teach him that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of men and gives them to whom he will. The king's redemption. At the end of the 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar's sanity was restored. He lifted his eyes to heaven and praised the God of heaven, declaring, "His dominion is an eternal dominion. His kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the peoples of the earth are regarded as nothing. He does as he pleases with the powers of heaven and the peoples of the earth." Nebuchadnezzar's heart was transformed. He acknowledged God as the true king and humbled himself before him. The once proud ruler who had defied the God of Israel became a testimony to God's power to humble and redeem even the greatest of kings. Legacy. Nebuchadnezzar's story stands as a reminder that no one is beyond God's reach. His rise to power, his divine encounters, and his humbling madness all served to reveal the sovereignty of God. Through his life, we see that God exalts and humbles according to his will, and that even the proudest hearts can be brought to repentance. Nebuchadnezzar's final declaration of faith echoes through the ages. Those who walk in pride he is able to humble,